For my presentation analysis, I chose 3 speakers who inspired new thinking and renewed vision. First is Yasmin Abdel-Majid. She calls us to question our first impression by speaking on something I believe is prevalent everywhere, which is unconscious bias. Next is Nick Vujicic. He spoke on how to make your walls become doors by overcoming hopelessness. It was very moving and he really opened up with the audience and shared his testimony. Last, I chose Sean Stevenson, who spoke of the prison of your mind and how to truly be free. And he was speaking to a bunch of prisoners, so I think it was appropriate that his was probably the lightest and most humor. I will analyze each presentation individually as not to take away from any one of them. Yasmin. 1. She opened up with a question. She opened up with a scenario using her own personal appearance as an example. They continued to pose a question that caused the audience to examine their own perspective. 2. She engaged the audience. She was very charismatic, which made it easy to follow along with her. 3. She told stories. The most powerful was a story of a father and his son in a car accident. Son was rushed to the hospital, but the surgeon was unable to operate due to being the parent of the son. See, the star moment was when it was revealed that the surgeon was the mother and not the father. 4. She used herself as an example. She was her own prop. She used the stripping away of outer garments to reveal another characteristic about herself as effective segues, which signified more reason why she shouldn't be placed inside of a box. 5. Her slides enhanced her presentation. While stating that many different and obvious titles she held, she used her slides to show examples of her in different environments. 6. She presented a problem and pointed out that many of us suffer from it. This was a lack of opportunity due to unconscious bias. 7. She challenged the audience logic. To quote her or not to quote her, the idea of merit and the merit paradox. She pointed out how it all leads back to unconscious bias. 8. She made the audience think critically. Another star moment was when she stripped down her final layer and exclaimed, "This is me," but stated she was also all the other things and posed the question, would you choose to mentor me if you see me in the other outfits? 9. She presented a solution. Give opportunities to those who typically don't get one based on unconscious bias. 10. She closed with a call to action. Mentor someone from a totally different spectrum beyond race, sex, or class and show them the ropes and how they can be successful in life. Nick. 1. He opened the presentation with a choice. We all have a choice to be angry for what we don't have or thankful for what we do. 2. He asked questions. The questions he asked caused us to ponder and ask why we focus so much on superficial material things that are only temporary versus things that are everlasting. 3. He used personal experience. He shared how he tried to commit suicide at 8 years old. 4. His tone expressed his depth. The whole time he spoke, he used a still, constant voice, which emphasized how firmly he believed what he was speaking and that the power of hope shouldn't be taken lightly. 5. He paced intentionally. He used his movements and timed each step he took at a point to draw the audience more in and keep their attention. 6. He used no slides. He did an excellent job of staying connected with everyone, and it's actually possible slides would have taken away rather than enhance his presentation. 7. He used himself as a prop. The fact that he had no limbs helped him to reiterate the fact that we all have a choice. 8. He had a touching star moment. His star moment was during his story when he said he met a little boy who had no limbs just like him. This is significant because he told a story about how he kept a pair of shoes in his closet due to miracles such as the blind being able to see and the deaf being able to hear. However, if he was never able to get his miracle, maybe he could be a miracle to someone else, and that day he was that little boy's miracle. 9. Call to action. He calls out that you can be a miracle to someone else. When words and hugs don't help, faith kicks in. He says, find your peace and you will make your walls doors. 10. He was very transparent. He continues to share doubtful things he heard throughout his life with the audience to reiterate points. He heard things like he'll never be able to be a husband or a father, yet he is now married and they're expecting their first child. Sean. Number 1. He was funny. He used humor to keep the audience engaged and maintain a light mood in the room. 2. He used himself as a prop. Although he's in a wheelchair and only 2 feet tall, he shared that he didn't see himself as not able, but stated that the only disability is the failure to adapt. 3. He was relatable to his audience. Seeing as how he is confined to a wheelchair, he can be seen as being in prison. 4. He won over the audience. He was very charming and likable, which incidentally is a point that he made about people wanting to be around those who love life. 5. He opened with a quote, "Never believe in a prediction that doesn't empower you." Sean made the audience the hero as he became the mentor who would show them how to unleash this power. 6. He started with the story. He opens up with the story about how doctors told his parents he wouldn't live past 24 years. He then jokes that 35 years later, he's the only doctor left. 7. He asks questions. He asks how many predictions have been thrown at you your whole life. He is setting up for a future point he will make about truly being free. 8. He talked to the audience on their level. He didn't claim to know what everyone was going through, but acknowledged that everyone has separate struggles. This kept attention on the audience, showing empathy. 9. He paced intentionally. Every time he chose to reposition his chair, it was to get to a different place on stage, to park it and get more intimate with a new section of the audience. He spoke with conviction. He spoke with passion from a point of maturity and wisdom, and you could tell that he experienced everything he spoke about. This added a sense of authenticity.